Hi, guys, and welcome to this week's episode of the Global News Review. My name is Ola, and I'm the founder of the Morning With Club. Yay! And basically, in these sessions, what we do is that we discuss the global economy, business news, and how it affects your pockets. And if this is your first time, please, I encourage you to listen in, share with a friend, and make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button so that you see the next episode. Now, I always try to lay a foundation. Why are these sessions important? They're important because if you're living in an environment, regardless of how intelligent, how excited, or whatever you are, the environment does have an impact. And so, if you are able to predict the environment to make the best decisions, right? Then you almost be seen as the guru, right? The ability to predict the environment. Like imagine if it's going to rain, and then you can tell that the clouds are gathering, so I should take my umbrella. That's the idea. So if the environment has hit you in the face in the past, then you need to stick with these sessions because it will never change. You have to adjust. You can't control it, but you have to adjust. So yes, let's get with it. And of course, if this is your first time, you would. What we do is that we review global, African, and Nigerian news. So yes, let's start with global news. The interesting thing that happened during the week. So if you aren't aware, there is a minor going into major trade war that is happening. Now, what is a trade war? A trade war is basically a war, but it's not guns, it's not ammunition, it's not bombs. It is that I'm throwing things at you and you're throwing it right back at me. And so, even before the new Trump administration in America, if you look back to when President Obama was the president, when Biden was the president, there had always been this complaint around China and the fact that they are they're making their goods cheaper by messing with their exchange rates. So let me explain. If you had a dollar and a dollar could buy could get you 10,000 yen, right? Or Chinese yuan. Now the fact is what they were no, not the fact. The accusation was that they kept devaluing their currency so that it will always be cheaper for you to use that $1 to buy like 100 things compared to um if you had to buy that thing in America, if you get what I mean. And so it was making American businesses less competitive. Now, fast forward to where we are right now. The current president of America is on a mission to make America great again. And so if you have any sort of advantage over their people, they are coming for you. Now, the latest one, and so the news that we're going to speak about is that the United States Postal Service, first of all, suspended packages from Hong Kong and China, and then reversed that. And so when they suspended, it was like major news that, oh my goodness, what does this mean? Meaning, so in actual, the logic here or the story, the backstory is that, so if you have like, if you place orders, if you're an American, you place orders on Temu or Shein, they're usually cheaper than what you'll find in the regular store in America, first thing. And then they get delivered by US Postal Service. So if US Postal Service is suspending orders from those countries or deliveries from those countries, it's a major issue for the people exporting from China into America, right? Now, why did they do that? There's a law that states that, or a tax law. It's quite a mouthful to say, but I can type it up in the chat. There's a law that states that goods below $800 in value will not be subject to taxes. So they generally move freely. Why? Because they just said, okay, how many border agents would we have to be able to review such goods compared to the value of the tax that we will get from there? So this is one of the reasons why those goods come quickly because they're not going to go through all the pay your tax, blah, 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 blah. So they come quickly and they are cheap. Now, the moment, so there's a conversation around tweaking that law, right, that will actually impact goods that you're ordering from Temu, right, and all those kind of stores, Shein, all those, yeah, all those China type, whatever. Now, what is the general impact, right? Moving beyond the United States Postal Service, who is making their own decisions based on the news and the law and trying to safeguard themselves. The bigger picture here, really, ooh, power. The bigger picture here is that what we see the bigger picture here is that we have the bigger picture here is that there's some legal issue. There's a trade war going on, and it's going to impact both sides. Now, if these goods are going to be will be charged. If we are going to charge tariff on these goods going forward, it means that for the US buyer, for the US consumer, it's going to be more expensive. That's the first part. Now, also for so it would impact on the seller in the Chinese side because their sales might reduce, but it will also impact the US consumer because inflation is going to go up. That's on one side. Now, when you look at a major store, a major platform like Amazon, who have a significant amount of third party sellers from that region, right? You know that it's going to impact the prices of those goods on those platforms and the ability to settle those imports, right? That's on one side. Now, on the side of a company like Amazon, as much as Amazon has third party resellers, Amazon has their own store, their own products, right? Which are produced from China. Such that there's going to be tariffs that will be slammed on those things based on the conversation, based on the proposal right now. And so the person that I think is going to suffer here is the consumer. That's just it. So in that process of trying to make America great and trying to what's it called, secure their economic, develop or ensure economic security, um, I think it will benefit, it might benefit the producers, local American producers, but not the consumers necessarily. That's on one side. Then there's a general inflation problem, which the central bank or the Reserve Bank of America is going to have to deal with because inflation is just going to naturally trickle in because the volume of these purchases are significant. And this is just an Amazon that we're talking about. There are a lot of companies that will be impacted by that singular thing. But what are we saying for you as an individual, right? There's opportunity in terms of trade. The fact is that if there's opportunity to reroute these products, rebrand them, add something on top to make them qualify as not being from China, there's an opportunity for you to make money there. That's one. There's also a fact that at some point, when the wahala becomes too much, trade routes are going to change. People are going to start looking for alternatives. And so the question is, you as a potential business person, how can you tap into this? What you would find is that a lot of these companies will now start investing more in their shipping routes to other economies. Why? Because they don't want to be dependent on their American markets. Does it pay the American consumer? Maybe, maybe not. But as a global economy, someone else will benefit from it, and that's just the reality. So if you are someone who is just sitting on the sidelines, know that there's a very high chance that if some of these policies are put in place, inflation is going to be a real thing, meaning that some of the things that you could get like on speed dial and were quite cheap, they're not going to be that cheap anymore. Yeah, so just know that. Then going to African news. Oh, before we slide into African news, it's just important for me to let you know that if you've been eyeing the Money with Club from far, and basically, I mean, maybe I will see if I can show a video of what the Money with Club is about. But check us out, www.themoneywithclub.com. Basically, what we do is that we help people put their finances in order by providing education and access to investment opportunities at the same time. A lot of times, people provide education, but they don't take action. If you do not take action, you are not making progress. Yeah. So no matter how much of a school, a farming school you go for, if you don't plant that seed in the ground and you don't know how to water it, you don't know what to do to prevent pests, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get that tree. You're not going to get it, right? So that's what we're doing in Morning with Club. And yes, the announcement is just coming to this side of town. Well, we are shutting down our doors for now because, I mean, you can follow us on social media. Let me put up our handles to read up more. Okay, this is our website for those that are interested. And you can also send us emails or send us what's it called, send us messages on social media, right, to find out more if you're interested. But we're shutting down today, Sha, so it's short notice. But yeah, just in case. And also just sign up to our newsletter. That's where we will do more of our education on a broader scale. We normally handhold people, show them what to do, connect them with people, make calls on their behalf. But we just realized that with having to do that for people and having partners around the world is just not scalable, right? So we are changing the model and we are giving today as a last day for anyone who would like to have that experience of the hand holding and making the introductions and making the phone calls and giving answers to questions directly and all that. If that's something that you would like to do, then check us out. Send me a DM if you have questions, and we'll be sure to respond, or send an email. If you're in our email list, you already have access to our emails and stuff. So that's that. Now, moving on to African news. So there's been some news around Rwanda versus DRC Congo, and some mining and some drama around that. Now, why am I highlighting? Not because of all the political drama, not because of the interview with the president of Rwanda and all that, not because of that, but because it has economic implications. The fact is that we need to understand that trade, trade like general trade, not one on one, not between one person, but general development trade thrives on security, thrives on peace. So we need to understand that the moment that there is some kind of sectorial friction, I attack you, you respond, all those kind of things, right? People will not travel to those regions anymore. The only people that will keep going are the people that are benefiting from it. So, and we've all watched these movies, we've all seen these stories. However, it's important to understand that when there is a threat of war in an area, it's not a place to go to investment wise, except if you want to sell guns. Yeah, that's just the reality. Or except if you are a aid supplier. Yeah, right? So it's one of the area becomes deserted from an economic perspective. So it's something that we need to be aware of. Africa cannot afford a full blown out war anymore, especially because Big Brother America is not really interested in funding anybody anymore. So everybody needs to sit down and honestly give themselves brain. So from an investor perspective, because that's where my concern is, from an investor perspective, I would say that if you are deciding on where to go to, look out for the political climate in that area and how stable it is, because it is significant to economic growth. As much as we might think my business, I'm buying, I'm selling, keep it to myself, it's not that straightforward. The environment matters, and it matters significantly. So yeah, let's hope that that East African area or the East African bloc would have a conversation within themselves and sort it out. Yeah, fingers crossed. And then finally, Nigerian news. Let me see. Oh yes, this was quite interesting, and it was one of those things where people say and they're like, okay, what are we supposed to make out of this? The current budget in America is Nigerian budget is about 49 trillion, and the president has proposed that it should be increased to 54 trillion, about three additional 3 trillion. So this is not billion, this is not million, this is trillion we're talking about here. It's a lot of money, right? And the fact is that we already questioned the ability to even meet up with the revenue goals of the government as it is. And so adding another 3 trillion to the budget seems like, okay, what are we doing here? But they say they want to fund some certain sectors. Okay, why can't you squeeze it into the budget? We don't know. But there seems to be some reason around it. And there was a debate in the House over the week, during the week, about it, right? But the question for the layman on the street, what does this mean? Well, the fact is this: the budget implementation has been poor. One of the concerns of the House with this additional budget is that we are still working with 2024. We have not fully implemented. We're not entered into 2025, and implementation has been poor. Right, revenue generation, while it has improved, is not where it should be. So topping up on a budget that is not even clear how we are going to deliver on is actually magical, magical. However, um what are the key drivers? They're saying tax, revenue generation. And I think that's where I want to have a conversation or have a discussion, right? The fact is this: in developed climes, the tax man does not calculate your tax for you. You are the one that would give your returns. The only issue comes when there is some reason where you pop up in front of them and they now check and they find out that you were underrepresenting your tax or your income, or you did not remit enough tax, or you did not whatever, right? The fact is that you are the one that will report yourself. Now, if you pull back into Nigeria, the fact is this: you need people to actually declare their income before they will pay the taxes, declare their true income. And then when the proposal is supposed to benefit people that are poorer, right? Or people with lower income, and you are in a higher income bracket, and you are still digging your own borehole, you are still providing your own generator, you are still donating to fix your own road. The question is, why would I want to declare that higher tax when if I'm not in a corporate environment where I am forced to? That is the question. Such that as we are trying to implement these tax reforms, there also needs to be something around a value exchange. And it is very, very important, because what's going to end up happening is that people are going to get creative about declaring their income. But what do I mean by value exchange? Now, if you tell me that if you're within a certain income bracket, you can walk into any hospital in the country, private or public, and you would get 30% off automatically off the whatever, and you can claim that rebate from the government, or something like that. Or you tell me that people that are in this tax bracket can go to this type of schools, and this is the benefits, blah 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 blah, something like that, where there's some clear cut value, then people would actually be tempted to report. So they will actually stop, think about it. How much am I earning? How much am I going to save from this? Does this benefit me? And then I would report. But if you don't have any of those, where I'm actually going to be fixing a road on my street, so that's an expense. So as a company, I'm not going to pay taxes because I'm going to be paying that road. Or I'm going to be, do you understand? It's harder to actually get people to declare their income. And if in developed countries where there's technology is working, they don't have capacity to actually chase and lock people down, right? Then how much more in Nigeria, where we don't have data, where people are not in the system, where one hospital stands in silo from the other, and there's no connection or information, there's no, for education, there's no connection, there's no database where you're in one school and every school plugs into, say, nothing like that. I put it to you, that people are going to be very creative. The people that are probably going to make the most money will be tax consultants, because no matter how smart you think or tight or watertight it is, something, there will always be loopholes. There will always be loopholes. So you need to give benefit to make people pay their taxes. And I think that's what's most important. There is a lot, I agree, a lot of untapped taxes. There are whole economies that are not paying taxes, like whole sectors that you can't say they're not even paying taxes, like literally not paying taxes. And so there is actually, if we channel ourselves right, there's actually revenue within the economy to fund this economy and lift us out of where we are. But you have to give value. I think that's the most important thing. So as a Nigerian, if you want to be in the system, of course, one of the ways that they do these things is, if you want to do anything with the government, if you want to get cash from PTA, all those kind of things, then you have to have your tax clearance. Those are the little ways, but there are very few people that meet that window of need. So it needs to be broader based. So as a Nigerian, understand that tax is gonna go up. There's proposal around VAT, right? VAT increases, which is what impacts everyone. No one can escape, as long as the person that is collecting the VAT remits it. But understand that taxes are going to increase in 2025, meaning that your costs are going to go up, and you need to be aware of it, and you need to plan. So on this note, I would see, do I even have, let me see if I have any videos I can show about the club. And if I don't, we will just end it there. But thank you, everyone. I didn't see anybody say hi today, quite unusual. Yeah, I don't have any videos set up already. But yes, let's have a beautiful day. Bye.